where it works, where it protects our health, our environment, makes us independent. We can do that now. And George Bush, if you're listening, put this country to work by embarking upon a massive energy-saving campaign so we can cut the ball and chain of $300 billion of energy waste starting tomorrow. Putting Americans to work, not shipping money abroad to buy Arab oil or Venezuelan oil or anything else. We can do that. That's a big job producer. Okay, efficiency. Like, how come they're talking about a train that'll go from Boston to New York at 125 miles an hour? Wow. You can go 200 miles an hour right today in France. You know, we don't even have a train company anymore that builds trains. They all were sold to Canada. The Pullman Company, the Bud train company, there's nobody. This country has been presided over by some leaders who've forgotten who they work for. And if I'm the next president, we're going to be building high-speed trains with American workers, and you're going to get to where you want to go at the speed you're entitled to get there. Less oil, more efficiency, higher quality of life, protect the environment. You know, right today in Detroit, they have prototype engines that'll get 60 to 100 miles per gallon. Now, obviously, if you're in the oil business, efficiency is one of the worst things that could ever happen. If Sununu and Baker and Bush could have their way, they'd like us to drive around the block 5 times before we go anywhere. I mean, what else? What else do you think of people who fight fuel efficiency standards? Look, we have the technology. We put a space shuttle up there. We got nuclear bombs. We've had all sorts of things. We can create a car that can move people from one place to the other without poisoning the environment, poisoning our lungs, or ruining our economy. We can. We, the people, can do it. And we had a president who cared. And building a train system leads right into the next thing. What's the big opportunity? The big opportunity now at the end of the Cold War, it's trade. And as we cut back our military, as we must and as we should, we're going to then expand our civilian investment. And what better investment is there in a world of 5-6 billion people than trade? Trade with Europe, trade with Russia, trade with Eastern Europe. And that means we need ports. We need expanded ports, we need ships, we need American-built ships, we need American maritime, and we need to link it together with a train system. That's putting America to work, that's jobs, that's trade, that's wealth. And I'll tell you this, building American ships and American shipyards will put a lot more people to work than expanding the turnpike to run more Japanese cars on Arab oil. That's not going to get us too far. We need to invest in the new technologies that will allow us to take advantage of what's out there. Now, a lot of people in this campaign have been concerned about health care. Bob Kerrey had a commitment to a single-payer system where we put everyone in the same boat, where we're in a health care system where you have one buyer. And if you have one buyer, you can set a reasonable price. We're not failing to cover people because we don't have enough money. Japan covers all Japanese. Canadians cover all Canadians, Europeans cover all Europeans. Only in America do we fail to cover 40 million Americans. And look at the difference between Canada and the United States. In Canada, they spend $500 less, they cover every single citizen, and they live 2 years longer. Now that sounds to me like they might have something, and I think they do. And I want a healthcare system, not like Mr. Tsongas, where he wants the corporations to compete and somehow bring the cost down and cover everyone. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think healthcare should be a commodity to be exploited for profit. I think it's a right of the American people. Everyone should have healthcare. And we can have it cheaper. Where's all the money going? It's the middleman. It's the it's the intermediary of the 1,500 insurance companies. You know, you got more people on doing billing work to figure out all the forms of the insurance companies right here in your major hospitals than you do have people on direct patient care. It doesn't make any sense. And that's why I am committed, as Bob Kerrey was, to a single-payer, universal coverage, but private choice of doctor, of hospital, and whatever healing or treatment you feel fits what you believe is best. When I'm talking about health, I should say something about radioactive waste, which they still can't figure out what to do with. And there is a choice there. And whatever the controversies have been, there is no doubt I am on record as not only stopping nuclear power plants in California, but being committed to phase them out in this country over the next 10 years and go to renewable energy sources. I contrast that with my good friend Paul Songas, who, as a managing director of your friendly Boston Edison company, is still protecting the radioactive museums that will be in this community for the next 10,000 years. We don't even know what to do with that waste. And that's why I say, stop it now, and let's go to independent energy systems that are safe, that are clean, and that are sustainable. Finally, I want to say something about foreign policy. A lot of people have asked me, when they talk about foreign policy, sometimes I think they really want to know, which country, Brown, are you going to invade? And I think to myself, wait a minute, what's the biggest issue in the world today? What is the biggest source of suffering? Hunger. Millions of people are still dying of hunger. Little children through no fault of their own, in a world with wealth and capacity and science and technology to feed everyone. That's my first foreign policy goal, to commit this country and its allies to ending hunger now, wherever. And I want to say, when I think of hunger in Africa or South America, just something struck me. Last week when I went to Baltimore, as you know, I don't stay in hotels. I stay with supporters. And in this particular evening, one of the women who was one of my delegates in Baltimore, who was herself homeless, now has a homeless shelter for women and children. And I went over and I stayed at this particular shelter, and I was shocked when I saw little children and their mothers in a room that I wouldn't call any bigger than a broom closet. This is America, and right across the street there are empty buildings, empty apartments. And I looked into it and I found out there are more empty buildings than there are homeless people in this country. And that's wrong. And I want to change that. And we can change it. We, the people, can make this country committed to what it believes. So yeah, I want to stop hunger abroad, but I want to stop homelessness and hunger right here. And I know we can put people to work. And I spent the evening talking to these people, most they were women and their children. They're just like anybody standing here. They're the same. They just haven't been given the opportunity, and they're not alone. There are millions of people. We have people in our own city, in our own country, who are exiles in their own land because of injustice, indifference, and a governing elite who has forgotten why they were sent to Washington. And I want to wake them up and get people to realize that this country belongs to all of us, and unless all of us have a chance, none of us are going to make it. A house divided cannot stand. Together, there's nothing we can't accomplish.